Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to War Blunders, where today, for your viewing pleasure, I present my favorite tank, the Panzer 4C. It is battle rating 1.3 in arcade. Now, not long after I started playing, um, I played the BT-5 Russian and had some success, but then I quickly jumped over to the German tech tree and found this little tool. And right away, let's get this covered. She has basically, for all intents and purposes in the game, you might as well say she has no armor. It's best to play her that way. The most armor she has is on her cupola, which really is more of a weakness than it is a strength. It just gives a high explosive shells a place to hit and then do their little thing of penetrating the roof armor and taking out the whole tank. Um, Here's an example of how easy it is to kill. This is a 50 caliber, and these are the universal belt. From the side, it's just, even from the rear, it penetrates all the way through the turret and the engine compartment. Now, that took a little bit harder, but to get the driver, but you can see this is, for all intents and purposes, you might as well say it's practically no armor. 20 millimeters from the front, even from the L3, will just rip right through it. The only real advantage it has as far as survivability is that it's got a 5-man crew, smoke generators or smoke grenades, and artillery strike. Now, most people use the heat round or the high explosive round, but my preferred round is the AP HE. It's got a little bit of filler, halfway decent penetration, but as you'll see in the following clips, its main advantage, at least as far as I'm concerned, is its ballistic arc, which this is a howitzer, or sort of a howitzer like. So your shots many times can go right over defiles and bolts in the terrain, and people think they're safe from, and then you hit them with a indirect fire shot, which it takes some time to get used to. It's not an easy shot, but right there, that guy thought he was in absolutely no danger. And it takes a while to get used to making those shots, but once you do, this tank is utterly lethal. And the main reason also another main reason I use this particular round instead of the others is if you're fighting in an urban setting and have fences or walls or lampposts, trees, bushes, all those things will detonate a heat round and a high explosive round before they even get to your target. Where the armor piercing high explosive will penetrate and still get the work done. Like I said, and when you make these lob shots over the terrain, lots of times it doesn't have to penetrate the thickest part of your opponent's armor. It'll drop right in and hit the top of the roof or the top of the superstructure, or in the case of an open top, it'll just land right in the middle of the crew compartment. At that point, that 106 grams of filler, high explosive filler, just does the work, especially at this lower battle ratings. Now, sometimes when you get a shot, you have to try to penetrate the front blade or something. Up close, it can be difficult. But with the Ace crew, it also has a 3.2 second reload, which is to be slinging 75 millimeter rounds. That's pretty devastating in itself. So this has become when I just want to relax and not have to think too much, have fun, this is my go-to tank. I also like the Panzer III app that's in the same battle rating. Now here I have my little custom photoshopped striped camouflaged it. I mean, only I see it. It's not real camouflage. But I like the way it looks. I see there, I got somebody with artillery. When I remember to utilize it, I've gotten fairly good at it. And overall, I probably have 20 of the kills that I have with this tank are with arty. Don't forget to use your resources. Don't forget to, well, you're a German, you don't want to abuse the smoke like most players do, but use that artillery every chance you get. It can make a difference in your battle. Certainly saved my butt. I'm not the only one that forgets to use it. I see content creators on YouTube all the time forgetting to, but sometimes you don't even shoot where you have somebody on the map that you can see. Sometimes it's best to just drop it where you think people might be coming. I've got many kills that way with arty. Some of the strengths of this tank, besides that fast-firing gun, is it is fairly maneuverable. It's not slow, but it's not really fast either. It's somewhere in between. But it'll climb a hillside really nicely. The turret moves pretty quickly, and the gun handling is pretty good. Optics are nice. Here on cargo port, I found in this particular little match here, I utilized the spot right up here by what's the A cap on this map with a single cap, or it would be the B cap if it's a 3 cap situation. Right behind a bunch of containers. There's a little gap in between. Now, if this was a higher BR and people had higher velocity guns, it would not make a good hiding spot. You can, on this map and some others, shoot straight through these containers. But it served for allowed me to get really close to that cap point and do some decent work. But getting used to using that indirect fire at slightly longer ranges, very, very fulfilling and useful in this tank. It's part of what makes this combination work for me. I've got a lot of good matches in this particular tank. My second highest kill without dying game. Now, what's this little sneaky shot here? The second highest match I ever did without dying was a 12 kill game, which I have on somewhere else on my YouTube channel. Yeah, it's not on video or no witnesses. It didn't happen. So there's the proof for you if you want to look it up. I don't claim to be offering any new information. I'm sure lots of people have figured it out, which is one of the reasons this thing is so popular. In the arcade, I'm forever killing other people in it. Plus, a lot of people, I'm sure, use it as a stepping stone to get to the longer barreled Panzer IVs, beginning with the F2. Now, the next step up the tech tree from here, which is the 2.3 battle rating Panzer IVe, it gets a better heat round and a little more armor, but by that point at battle rating 2.3, there's some nastier things. I just find that tank and the next one from there, the F1, which is also a shorter barreled version, I find them to be not nearly as effective because the other tanks that you're competing with also stepped way up in lethality. This was a nice little match here, and I got greedy at the end and just had to get some more kills. Got kill hungry. It happens. The dummy me, I know there's several sitting down here. And I can actually hear the tank that's coming up behind. I know I'm about to get wasted from behind. But no, I stupidly keep pushing forward and us get to one more kill. Which is going to bite me in the butt here before I can finish this guy off. And I'm getting zapped from behind. Which, as I showed in the test drive footage, I have almost zero protection. Now this cyanide map, I used to hate it, but recently I have got a few really decent matches on it, including one in the Tiger 1H, which I got 7 kills. That made my whole day. Made a couple days actually. I found a few spots on this map that I can work. I prefer to stay over here on the A side. I think the middle, the B cap side is hideously dangerous. I avoid it at all costs. Oh yes, White Rock Fortress, or as Oddballs calls it, White Cock Fortress. He doesn't like it. I enjoy it. It wasn't in the game until recently for me. I can see it in other people's videos a long time ago, and I've always liked the ruined castle fortress scenery. I was just tickled when they added this back in. Yeah, it's got some flaws. You can very quickly, especially if you're on the north side, you can get spawn camped or spawn trapped. And it's definitely a flanker's map. The middle was just a slaughterhouse usually. Especially those ruins right there around where the B cap is. Makes it lethal and deadly. I like to stay out of there as much as possible. I did pretty good in this particular match. Started doing some kind of tricky little shots back over my engine deck with minus 10 degrees of gun depression. This tank can take some shots from some different places that you never achieve with a Soviet tank or anything else with gun depression issues. Now this thing is never going to be a long-range sniper, and really, unless you are real good at getting the first shot off it, it's never going to be a brawler, but it's more of an ambush predator. Sometimes you have a little trouble penetrating things, but pick your shots, do your work. Remember that quick reload is very beneficial. Oh, and for everybody that's suffering through listening to this, please forgive me for my sniffling. I'm not a coke fiend, or I don't have a cold. I've been on continuous oxygen for about 2.5 years. It's just the nature of the beast. But back to War Thunder. I have a lot of kills with this. A pretty decent kill to death ratio, but I have yet to get a plane with it. I would love to be able to hit a plane with a main gun and take it out. kind of live with that kind of thing and some of the other vehicles I play. But see, here's a little Panzer IV on Panzer IV action. Which why anybody would sit there with their side facing the enemy on purpose, I have no clue. There, I would have loved to have got that Stuka, but wasn't meant to be. I have a love-hate relationship, mostly hate with this Iberian castle thing. For the most part, I do my best to stay out of the town. I don't do much better out here in the ruins either on this one. I've got one little spot I kind of like. It's over here by this one gate. I've got some 6 and 7 kill games on it, but I hate this map. Like I said, I used to hate Cyanide, but I've got a lot better at it, and I actually enjoy playing that. I guess what would be the west side on Cyanide, whether I spawn on the north or the south. I try some cutesy stuff here in a minute. This was just dumb to stay right here. I had a nice little streak going, and now I just had to push it. Yes, I died. It was to a cast plane from behind. Ah, Corellia. I love the scenery on this map and on Carpathia. Even the ones where the objective isn't on the hill, I'd love to get up on the hill. There I had a little issues getting that guy. Finally I was able to drop the round right inside his cruising compartment. Ooh, wonder what happened there. Now, one of the things I forgot to mention about survivability on this that Stuart and I have in common is the transmission being in the front. Sometimes that will soak up a shot and actually save your crew. I'm not sure why that guy didn't shoot or see me, or maybe he was counting his change or looking at text messages on his phone or something. Probably should have been a German main, as oblivious as he was. Kind of had a little bit to this match. I come as close to spawn camping as I ever do. Once again here, watch closely. I'm making shots at things I don't have a direct line of sight on. Ooh. That's the advantages of this gun. That almost artillery indirect fire. That guy was probably just through the trees. There wasn't any terrain blocking us, but at the very end of this video I showed the best example I have of the utility of this short barrel howitzer like gun. So here we are in a town. This isn't the example I was thinking of, but all the fences, posts, and other crap that's in this town. If you were using heat or high explosive, like right there, I shot him through probably 2 fences. Never would have worked with high explosive or heat. There, I got smart and actually used the artillery. Even if you don't actually take out an enemy or even damage them, you can use it to drive people out of a spot, or it's got a lot of uses if you remember to use it. See, once again, there's somebody over there, but heat or high explosive would not have done that. There needs to be a definitive video, maybe I'll work on it, of things in this game that you can and can't shoot. When I first started playing, I didn't think you could shoot through these brick columns, and trees, and lots of other things, or if you did, there's no way that it would damage the vehicle that's on the other side that you're actually trying to hit. But sure enough, you can blast right through a lot of things. I don't know how accurate that is, but ambush predator. They're using the artery again, but I sat there too long and somebody else took me out. Shooting the fence. Back on Corellia. And I love the scenery on this one. I think that was that little squeezy boy. And yes, you gotta be careful of artillery in this. There's very little armor on the top. This is pretty exciting here. I can hear him. I know there's at least 2 or 3 of them over there. That's my artillery doing its job. I flushed him out. And even with the loader dead, my reload is still only like 7 seconds. Crew looks like gummy bears. And I could have used my crew replenishment there, but probably should have. And I have artillery available again, and I hardly ever jump into the planes when I probably should do that. Because I'm actually a better arcade pilot than I am a tank driver by far. But I love this tank. I've had a lifelong love of military hardware. I have my cousin Bobby to thank for that. He had these little plastic, kind of like the army men. These were tanks. And he had the German ones, and they were like this bluish gray plastic, and he had the Americans. I mean, they were fairly well represented as far as Tigers, Panthers, Panzer 4s and 3s. It's really neat. Early 60s. That's what got me started. I didn't really mean to drive off the cliff there and get myself trapped down here. But I used the artillery again. I meant to just get right up there on the edge, but I'm not sure if I just didn't get stopped in time or somebody may have given me a slight bump. Yeah, there's an artillery kill. I paid for it here in a second. I had 6 kills. I'll take that every day. Probably could have cut a little bit of this out. I think I accidentally hit. Something hit my smoke launcher, because that's not my smoke. I would love to see if there's a way to get out of here, but I couldn't figure it out. I was pretty well wedged in there. He either lives by artillery, she'll die by artillery. Back on cargo port. Again, shooting through fences and other structure. You just could not get by with that. With the heat. Or the high explosives. Would not work. There's nothing really great about this tank, but there's enough good things that it does pretty well that make it a nice choice. And I don't think it's for the beginner, because like I said, that gun it takes a while to get used to. I won't claim to be a master of it, but I have a pretty good handle on it. Admit, that's about probably the longest shot I ever made with it. You're not going to do any one side of the map to the other shots. I doubt you'll do that in anything at this BR. I truly do not like Ash River. Any real configuration of it. See, there I was having trouble with that M3. I just couldn't get that last crewman yet. Had I been smart, I would have switched to the heat, maybe. It might have done the job. No big deal. The guy finished him off, and I'm okay with that. Once again, I got a hit. Didn't penetrate, but lobbed it in there. Alright, now this is the one. This is the shot I'll get ready to talk about. There are several vehicles, including some wrecks, and a pile of debris in between me and this guy I took the shot on. But there he goes. I hope everyone's enjoyed this. We are now at the end. As always, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to try to make someone smile today. Della and I appreciate it.